You know, if we go to a mall and we look at the map, we'll see that where we are is a lot further away from where we want to go to. And coming to an honest assessment, though, realizing where we are, gives us the ability to know how to get to where we want to go. This is honesty. This is saying, it's not working. Simply admitting things are out of control. It's unmanageable. That can be really difficult because we're often living in a state of coping mechanisms, thinking this is kind of working, it's kind of helping. We wouldn't do it if we didn't think that it was helping. I remember people were starting to tell me, Katie, you're having a problem. It looks like you're having an issue. And I couldn't believe them, especially my family, actually. I just discounted them. I thought they were worried or ridiculous. But then I started to have some friends and then acquaintances, people who didn't even know me that well. I started to realize other people who barely know me can recognize I have a problem. And they're not trying to scare me or hold me back or confuse me. They're really simply concerned. When I started to realize that, then I made sure that I started to address what was really going on. It became embarrassing. Why are other people noticing? It became pretty apparent to myself as I saw the progression. I still was often in denial until my parents finally, and this is when I was younger, said, look, if you don't pursue help, we are going to enforce help. And it was the realization that, wow, I'm really not in control. I am going to be forced to get help. I don't even get to choose anymore. And many of you may be in that place where maybe others are acknowledging to you, this is out of control, this is not working. Well, if we stay in denial, all of that forced help is wasted. It's useless. No help can really be helpful until we receive it. And we receive it when we recognize this, what I've got going on, my best thinking is not working. I am out of control. It is not helping me to not get help. So it's time to really consider what it would look like to get honest. When we start getting honest, we can actually experience a whole bunch of emotions that we've been trying to cope and cover for weeks, months, maybe even decades. We've been trying to cover them with our quote-unquote coping mechanism that was going to kind of keep things under wraps, when in reality it was eating away our life day by day. Here's where then we find ourselves really emotional, coming to terms with some of the pain and the anger and the disappointment that we actually have to say, yep, we're here, but where we want to get to is way up here. That we've actually created probably a longer distance. The direction that we've gone has taken us further from our ultimate destination. And coming to terms with that is hard. I know when we're driving and you've got someone driving and the other person's like, hey, are we in the wrong direction? For instance, that someone is often my husband or me. And you're in that situation, the spouse is over next to you going, I'm not sure this is the right way. And you're like, oh, please, I know what I'm doing. Don't question me. And your confidence gets more rigid. And although inside you're starting to wonder, you're really producing some of that major denial. I know where I'm going and I'm going to get there. And the spouse is consistently saying, hey, I'm not sure. This doesn't look familiar. I don't remember this. The GPS is saying that we should do something different. No, I know where I'm going. Well, when that person finally says, I don't think this is the right way. When the driver actually says, maybe I need to get some help. Maybe I need to get some directions. What I'm doing is not working. It's not taking me in the right direction. When the driver actually admits and acknowledges that, that's when he finally starts to receive some help. He actually starts to go in a different path, on a different journey, make that U-turn, change turns, get off the exit, get on a different freeway, and start going in the direction that he had always intended to go. But we see that the first real principle was his ability to admit, I'm not going in the right direction. And as among other people, that can be even more difficult than for yourself. It's critical though. We have to acknowledge the direction we've been going is not the direction that we want to go, and start making some changes. This is that first principle, honesty. Honesty. You know, oftentimes we want to be honest in one area, like I'm telling you some truth. Well, that's not honesty. Honesty is a real disclosure, an openness about whatever we've got going on, and especially an honesty with ourselves. How can we become honest with ourselves? It really requires us to open up, to begin to discover what's really going on inside. Sometimes we haven't even been honest with ourselves. And I often think the people that I'm most honest with are the people I know can accept me and love me. When I speak to them, they listen. This is really important, that we become the kind of people who can listen to ourselves with that same level of acceptance and love. If I look at someone's face and they're angry, and I can tell they're disgusted with me, or they're unforgiving, well, they're not the kind of people that I'm necessarily going to be more prone to be open or honest with, or start to disclose a lot more of what's going on inside. I'm more likely to be open and honest with the person who looks at me with tenderness, empathy, acceptance. Not that they're going to continue to encourage me to go in the wrong direction, because that wouldn't be a help either, but they're going to acknowledge that I've got stuff that I need to work through, and that's okay. These emotions that have become stronger than they were before are okay. This is what honesty can do for us. Honesty can give us the ability to really connect with the very critical things we need to get a proper assessment and then therefore go on in the proper direction. Can you be the kind of person who can love yourself enough to be honest with yourself? Love yourself enough. When you look in the mirror, give yourself that look of kindness, acceptance, willingness to support you through that journey. Give yourself that grace, that support. When you do that, you'll find that being honest, admitting it's not working, admitting your life is out of control and it's become unmanageable, is what really will set you up to go on this journey. So embrace this first principle, which is honesty, and we'll see you at the next one.